One-coat paint for wood outdoors is used on untreated material that is absorbent, such as, for example, sawn timber. Note, however, that absorbent untreated surfaces require a lot of linseed oil. The end result is a lasting, beautiful matte finish. Before you begin, make sure that you have everything you need. Linseed oil paint in the colour of your choice. Raw linseed oil for diluting the paint. Balsam turpentine to make the paint easy to work with and to speed up the oxidization process. An empty pot for mixing the paint in. Stick for stirring the paint. A suitable brush. Cloth for wiping the brush and hands. Soap for washing the brush and hands. Before you begin, we recommend that you first read the application instructions and tips included in our brochure and on our website. Estimated rate of distribution per coat on untreated wood is 5 to 7 square metres per litre of paint. The drying time of the paint is 1 to 2 days under normal drying conditions. The optimal temperature to apply the paint is between 5 and 25 degrees Celsius. Make sure that you have good ventilation in the room you're painting in, especially for drying purposes. The easiest way to open a paint pot is to place a foot firmly on it and then remove the lid using a putty knife and mallet. An undamaged lid is easy to put on again and will tightly seal the contents. Make a measure from the stick used for stirring. For painting on untreated wood, you need approximately 50% linseed oil paint, 40% raw linseed oil, and 10% balsam turpentine. Stir the newly opened can so the paint is thoroughly mixed and smooth. Wipe the stick with the brush to avoid any mess. Place the stick into the empty pot and pour in the linseed oil paint up to the first line. Wipe the pot. Then pour in the raw linseed oil to the next line. Then the balsam turpentine to the last line. And finally mix all the ingredients thoroughly so the entire volume is homogeneous. Wipe the stick used for mixing and label the pot so that you know what it contains. It's useful to know what is in the paint store so that you can find the paint the next time you need it. If the paint has been standing a while beforehand, it is recommended to stir it again. It is preferable to paint the boards before putting them in place so that paint can also be applied to the underlying surfaces. Avoid dipping the brush too deeply so that you get too much paint on it, as this can result in it being runny and difficult to achieve a smooth finish. We are using a large round primer paintbrush to be able to apply a lot of paint evenly onto the boards. Paint wet on wet and avoid going back over what you have already painted or taking a break in the middle of a board so that you do not have to apply a second coat. This would result in an uneven finish. Apply the paint evenly over the entire surface and smooth out the newly painted surface with long strokes of the brush. Wipe off the excess paint on a piece of paper or a board, then wipe the brush with a cloth. It is important that the cloth is rinsed in water before throwing it away to prevent spontaneous combustion. Wash the brushes in soap and water. It is a good investment to look after your brushes as a good brush is expensive. A second-hand, well-maintained brush is also better to work with than one that is brand new. If you intend to continue painting in a few days using the same paint, it is not necessary to wash the brushes, but just let them remain in raw linseed oil so that the paint doesn't dry. With linseed oil paint, you get a beautiful surface that will last for many years. This simple application is suitable for fences and facades where an emulsion effect is wanted.